Okay, I'm live. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today for today's training called Indecision is a Decision. And I am your host and mindset success mentor, Lou Perica. So, whether you're catching me live or catching the replay, I appreciate you being here. I just wanted to share again, some of you may or may not know me. I may be new to you. So, the purpose of these trainings is to share information that I've been studying for years. And when I came across this information, it literally changed my life. Not only my life, but it also has a ripple effect for everyone around me. But this information really isn't taught in schools. It's not taught in business trainings, and most likely it wasn't taught in the home you grew up in. So my purpose is to really share it with as many people as possible and raise the level of awareness so we can all understand that we all, each and every one of us, have pre-installed success tools within us so we can actually create the life that we love. This is so important to understand. Most of us think, well, I grew up on the other side of the tracks. Well, they're lucky because their mom or dad was such and such, or they know a lot of people. That may be true, but each and every one of us have the tools to create the life that we want. And so this is what I want to bring to your attention. So I sincerely hope you enjoy these trainings. So let's start. I just want to do a quick recap on last week's training, which was the secret to setting the right kind of goals. Um, and that training was to really uncover, what do you really, really want? What makes your soul sing, right? And once you uncover what you really want, I mentioned that you asked yourself these questions. Am I able to do it? Most likely you are. Here's the tougher question. Am I willing to do whatever it takes? This is where a lot of people drop the ball. Why is this goal important to me? Mhm. And what would it do for me? And how would it feel with the having of it? That key word is feel, because we do things or we want things because of how it makes us feel. I use the example, a lot of us may want a fancy car or a beautiful home, but after a while, once we have it, typically that feeling wanes. And then we're always looking for something bigger and better. But this is all part of who we are. We're all spirit, that essence within us is always looking to expand and express itself, to grow itself in a bigger and better way. So um, once you have decided what you really, really want, or what you have uncovered, I should say, what you really, really want, then it's time to make a decision. Are you going to move forward with your goal? And are you willing to make a committed decision? Again, you can be interested in doing something, which means you'll do whatever's convenient. Being committed is doing whatever it takes. So our whole life is dominated by decisions: our income, the health of our mind and body, the well-being of our family, our social life, our relationships are all dependent upon the ability to make sound, conscious decisions. This article on decision making comes after, in our Thinking into Results program, the first lesson is setting the right type of goal, right? Setting a worthy, ideal goal. And then there's an article that follows that lesson, which is on decision making. This particular article is one of my favorites. I never really understood the power of making decisions. So that's why I wanted to share this article with you today. This single mental move of making a decision can be made in a split second. and it can solve enormous problems for us. Really think about this, right? It has the potential to solve almost any personal or business situation that we'll ever encounter. It can literally propel us down the path to success. And this mental move is called a decision. So, here are three reasons that typically hold people back from deciding. And again, I was in this category, right? So, not being clear on what you really want, and I emphasize really. Ask yourself, what would I love? What would I love? When I find myself in situations that, oh gosh, I ask myself, what would I love? What would I love? And I go there, right? Number two, the lack of confidence and being fearful of making the wrong decision. Lots of us feel this way, right? We may feel like a failure. We may be embarrassed, and doubts start creeping in. We're so concerned about what other people may think about us, right? Or maybe we can hear an adult in our life saying, I told you not to do that. I told you not to do that. And what happens is this sets up fear from growth. We want to stay where we know, right? And number three, right, not knowing the hows or where the decision might take us, going into the unknown zone, right? Because a lot of decisions, if it's based on your goal, you're going somewhere you've never been before, and you can feel very uncomfortable. And most of us like to feel like we're in control. And a lot of people like to stay where they feel comfortable, but there's no growth there at all. I say it all the time. Nothing magical or nothing great happens in the comfort zone. But my clients and myself, we've learned to become proficient decision makers. It's not always easy, but now we understand the power of making decisions. And once we make the decisions, we move ahead, even though we may not have a plan or the whole plan, but we just figure it out as we go. And our mantra is things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. But you must believe that. You must believe that there is a power that is always looking out for you. The universe conspires to have things work out for us. So we must remember that, right? And think about it, think about this. If things weren't always working out for us, we wouldn't be here right now. So some way, somehow, things always work out for us. So, with this decision making, starting to understand how powerful it is, you would really think that it should be taught at home, right? Or it should be taught at schools, or, maybe in business trainings, it should be taught, but it's not. So, how are we expected to learn how to develop this ability, right? We have to do it ourselves. We are in control of our destiny, our life. So we must do it ourselves. When we have the proper information and subject ourselves to certain disciplines, we can become very efficient at making decisions. And what decisions do is they bring order to the mind. It gives direction where we're going or what to do, which causes new ideas to come to us on how to accomplish our objective. And this is something that, I get sometimes I feel embarrassed when I say this, but I used to always do this. What should I do? I can't tell you how many times I went to people. What would you do? What do you think I should do? Right? But I no longer do that. Thank you. How many times have we asked ourselves, should I go? Should I stay? Do I love them? Do I leave them? Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Should I say it? Should I not say it? Right? We all experience these questions from time to time. But indecision is a decision, and it's a very disempowering way to live life. Indecision sets up internal conflicts because your energy is split. Just like those questions, should I go? Should I stay? If you don't make a decision either way, it's always on your mind, right? Should I go? Should I stay? What should I do? What will happen? And this is where the internal conflict comes. This is where confusion comes in. And this, again, is extremely disempowering. So, um, when you do make a decision, think about that. When you do make a decision, how does that feel? Sometimes it can feel scary because you're really not quite sure and you're taking a leap of faith, but you know within that you feel good. You made a decision and it makes you feel good. Again, you may be a little nervous about moving forward, but you know within you there is this internal guidance system within us. You know when you're on the right track. You may not know how you're going to get there, but you know that you've made the decision and you're on your way. This is when you're in alignment. This is when you're living your truth. And that is empowering. Excuse me. Proficient decision makers, they have a couple of things in common, right? They have a very strong self image, they have a high degree of self esteem, and they possess confidence. So, in reality, it's really about the self esteem and the self image and the confidence. That's the real culprit behind decision making. We're worried about what other people will say. We're afraid of looking foolish, feeling like a failure, and not wanting to take the responsibility for unwanted outcomes. Again, I'm going to go back to my past. What should I do? What should I do? Now, knowing what I know, I realized that I didn't take responsibility. I didn't want to take responsibility for the outcome. So this way, I used to be able to say, well, you told me to do that. Well, I listened to you. And that's not taking full 100% responsibility. And that is very disempowering. Decision makers are not afraid of making an error. And if they do, they have the ability to shrug it off. Those who make a real difference, they have courage, they take risks, they believe, and they persist. They learn from experience, course correct as they go along, and they move forward. Think about anyone that you know, or a celebrity, anyone that's done anything worth mentioning. They all had those abilities, right? They had courage. They may have been afraid, but they did whatever it took. They committed to their goal and to their decision. They did whatever it took, and it took guts. Maybe they were laughed at. Maybe people talked behind their back, right? Maybe others were just waiting for them to fail, but they didn't care. They blocked out all the external distractions and they stayed on course. And that takes guts, my friends. That takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. But look at the rewards. Think about anyone that's ever achieved anything. Look at what they have achieved and look what it took to get them to where they are. Maybe these people were fortunate enough to be raised in a family, in an environment that had the upbringing of confidence, of telling, maybe they had adults in their life saying, you can do whatever you want. You've got this, you've got this. But not a lot of people were raised in that type of environment. But some that they have a full understanding that to live a great life, decision making is part of that and it cannot be avoided. There is, I love this, there's a certain cardinal principle of decision making, and it is, I love this, Decide right where you are with whatever you've got. Decision makers figure it out as they go along. When I was in real estate, a lot of new agents would come in and you go over, introduce yourself to them and try to help them out and see if they needed anything. And I can't tell you how many times they'd say, well, I'm getting my website together, I'm getting my business cards together, and I'm taking this course, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And they're preparing, but they're not taking action. They're not taking income producing action. They're getting ready to get ready. Or a lot of people just simply stop before they even start. So once you make a decision, and this is really key too, all the people, all the resources, and all the ideas that you need will come every time. But you must make the decision. So if you got anything else from this message today, from this training today, just burn that into your mind that once you make a decision, you will find all the people, all the resources and ideas that you need every time. Whatever you need to achieve your objective, you will attract. As Napoleon said, I see only the objective, and the obstacles must give way. Think about a time when you see, this is why the really wanting something is so important. I use the example, let's say, your friends or your family, they're going to go on this magnificent vacation. And, it's going to cost X amount of dollars, and everyone is in, but you don't have the money. Okay. You don't have the funds in, you're living, it's pretty tight right now, but you really, really, really want to go. But until you make the decision to say, hell yes, I'm going, this is when you will start figuring out another way to earn some money to go on the vacation. But it takes that decision. It takes the decision. And this is when the people and the opportunities and the resources will start to come to you, because now you've opened up a channel and you've decided to go on that fabulous vacation. Um, Decision making is a conscious effort. Most of the decisions that we make throughout the day are done unconsciously, and it takes actual thinking to make a decision. We become, I don't know how many times you've probably heard this, but we become what we think about all day long. And ultimately, our thoughts control every decision we make. We are the sum total of our thoughts. Every act, our words, our behavior, what we buy, the way we walk, the clothes we wear, who we associate with, these are all an expression of self-identity, self-definition. All right. When you do make a decision, make the decision with enthusiasm, not apprehension. Make it with enthusiasm. This is what I'm going to do. This is really key. Don't think about the can'ts, the cannots. Focus on the cans. I think last week I talked about when we focus on the can'ts, where it's like a kink in the hose, right? We focus on how can we achieve our goal? How can we get from here to there? And what's going to happen? Again, the people and the resources and the opportunities and the new ideas will start to come to you. A really good question that I ask myself when I'm working towards my goal, and I do this quite often during the day: who do I have to be? Who do I have to be? You must be the person with the goal already achieved. This is key because we need to change the way we think. We need to change the way we behave. We need to change our beliefs because if we're here and we want to go there, this is taking different type of thinking. This is taking a different type of belief, a different type of action. So asking yourself throughout the day, who do I need to be? Who do I need to be? This is a great reminder to step into the shoes and into the energy of the person that you need to be with the goal already achieved, as if it's already done. Okay. Great decision makers in life do the work that they feel is worthwhile. Do something that you love and enjoy it. Your life is so important. You have the potential. We all have the potential to do anything we choose, and we can do it well. When the time for a decision arrives, you must make, once again, you must make your decision where you are and with what you have. Don't spend a lot of time preparing. Make the decision and then start moving forward. So put this valuable information into use and recognize that there is greatness which exists within you. You have limitless resources of potential ability just waiting to be developed. I talk about this all the time. Start today. There's never a better time than the present. Be all that you are capable of being. Your power is in the present. It is not in yesterday. It's not in the past. You cannot go back and change the time you woke up this morning. Your power is not in the future. You can think in the future, but many times, depending on what you're thinking about, this can bring anxiety, right? Your power is in the future, taking action now. That is where your power is. So, as I bring this in for a close, I just want to read this quote from H.L. Hunt, who once said, "Decide what you want. Decide what you are prepared to give up to get it. Set your mind to it and get on with the work." I love that. So I hope you enjoyed this article and training on decision making today. And I have this PDF if you'd like to receive it. It's a great little article. It's only a couple, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages long, but it's very powerful. And what I recommend is to read it over and over and over because repetition is the key to learning, but not just learning. We must apply what we are learning. So again, if you would like a copy of that, just reach out to me. You can DM me and let me know. And in the meantime, if you know of anyone else who may benefit from these trainings, please have them join our Facebook group, Live an Empowered Life with Lou, so we can share more of this information with people. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care. I will see you next week.